Hey everyone, in today's lesson I'd like to talk about render passes and what strategy do I use to get the passes that I need. Um, so there is an experienced CPU karma that we have, and we can't render any render pass. I mean, some render passes by using Karma XPU. Most of them are being rendered by using a CPU. So, so my rendering method is to render out the necessary passes. I mean, those passes that I can get from XPU, uh, and they mostly are the beauty passes I get by rendering with XPU, and then the extra passes like ambient occlusion, Z depths, and normals, position passes, and some extra passes that I need. I'm using a CPU, and it's also very fast. And I think this is very um, effective method of getting passes, at least for me. So let me show how I usually do it. So here I have three objects. So and have some movement on our torus. So we could also see the velocity passes as well. So I'm starting by giving some colors to each of the geometry, and also I'm giving like A pass, which is 1 for the grid, B pass, which is 1 for torus, and C pass. It's like extra passes that I might need. It can be anything, but here I'm using just an integer number. It may be a mask that I've painted and some other type of attributes I would like to extract as an extra pass. Okay, so merging them together and giving a little subdivision. So I'm converting the color as the different attribute for the color. So the basic color for the whole collection of geometry, and then I'm computing the velocity. Okay, so then we're going to Solaris, and here I have separated geometry mesh together. So here I'm using like a main material that, let's say, we have our main textures or shaders being applied. So this is our beauty pass, and I'm using it as a starting point to get the necessary passes first. Okay, so here I have my camera set up. So I have some light in the scene, and here I have my Karma XPU. Okay, and just an example, I added as many passes as I think I need for my comping work, and let's have some. Okay, this. So here I have all three geometries with motion blur and so on. Let's see, I'll do a snapshot. So here I have my color, which I need from the XPU. Then I usually extract beauty and shadow, and the Cryptomatte. In this case, I choose geometry because I've applied one material to all the geometries in the scene, so the crypto material won't work in this case. So that's why, because I'm having three separate geometries, I'm using crypto object. But if you have a lot of geometry in your scene, you would probably choose a Cryptomatte. Okay. Then you can use depths, but sometimes you might probably find useful to do the separate renders. So I found that having that depth pass as an extra, it's much convenient because you don't care about, let's say, lighting or materials. You simply have one material for all the geometry, and then you can set up all the necessary passes. While here, if you decide to separate your geometry, it might be a little bit extra work to merge all those separate depth passes. That's why I prefer to have the depth pass as an extra. So here's the motion vectors. So XPU doesn't render motion vectors, and you can see it is applying to the geometry, but it doesn't have an extra pass. Then normals you also might need, but I also prefer to have that as an extra. Position as well, which is also might be useful if you are doing some relighting or some extra, let's say, maybe some extra fog or anything like that you might add. Okay. Then shadow, I would also keep it in the main pass. So like the beauty pass, beauty and shadow, crypto object or Cryptomatte, shadows. That those passes I would like to keep in the main passes. Okay, as a main passes. So, and then UVs are also, I think they are rendered only using CPU and velocity as well. So so now having all those necessary passes, as I said, now I will render all these extra passes. So I've created the extra pass matte. So let's see, what do we have here? So let's switch to CPU. Now what I'm doing here, I'm using no light in the scene. I'm having a plain material, but what I'm doing here, I'm using the material builder, and here I can set up my extra passes. Okay, so let me get rid of this. So here I have an occlusion pass. Okay, I'm giving some lower values just to render faster, and I'm naming it an AO pass, okay, which is a float. Then if you remember, I had that extra colors and additional attributes applied to each geometry, which I would like to also extract as a separate pass. So here I'm using them as well. So here I have the color, which I'm using in the matte, which is a color attribute. And here I have A pass, B pass, and C pass. I can extract them separately with just integer attribute. Okay, and I can also combine them together and export them as the vector attribute. So here I'm naming them and matte all. So here are the attributes that I'd like to export. These are the custom attributes. Okay, and in the render settings, I'm having plus to all those passes that I mentioned here that I'd like to have here. I'm checking this. They are built in, which is very convenient. So I have position, depths, UVs, normals, motion vectors, and velocities. Then this underneath. So here I have a metal, which is a vector flow tree. It's a vector value, and I'm naming it. Okay, here the first, the second, and the third mattes that are separately being exported, and finally the color matte, which is the color attribute, which is matte, and also AO pass, which is also a color attribute. So here we're using CPU render, and so as you see, it's very fast because no other information that is compute heavy is being used here. So let's do a snapshot, and now I'm having the depths, motion vectors, as you see, the normals, position, the UVs, velocity, AO pass. So AO pass, since I'm using a very low sample value, I would like to apply filters also to my AO pass. This way I'm having all those smooth gray values. Okay, and next are mattes. So as you see, this is a color matte, this is integer mattes that we had. Okay, and all those mattes again as a vector value. So as you see, this way I can have separate all those beauty passes and all those extra passes, and at the same time I'm saving all those render times, and yeah, it's quite fast to get some nice results. Okay. Um, and also, let's say I'd like to, I can also actually extract, let's say, I'll switch this one. If I don't need this extra passes, but this image occlusion thing, it's always needed. So here we can assign the white material to all the geometries and switch to XPU, and also quickly render out the ambient occlusion pass in case you don't need this all. Okay, so that's all I'd like to share. Hope you find it useful. Thank you very much, and goodbye.